Well, Arsenal are hopeful to finalize Jurrien Timber deal soon. A very huge update that's gonna head to be really cleared by Mark of the Wage, one of the biggest tier 1 journalists coming in from Netherlands, as far as the buyout clause of Jurrien Timber that was traded around, I think at the beginning of this week, is concerned. He has gone ahead and really thrown a very huge light onto that, and I'm going to go ahead and really tell you how much has gone ahead to illuminate onto that issue. And then we are going to talk about Jurrien Patino and Balogun, on how Arsenal have gone ahead to find themselves in a situation of really trying to sell them, but with a sell back clause or a buy back clause. And lastly, Kessié, call him any of those names, he's really one of those that Barcelona is going to sell to facilitate its hunt of 210 million euros that they need to register more players at the club of Barcelona. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily, because we are left with just limited subscribers to really hit that number of 15,000 subscribers. Guys, continue to subscribe and let's see close to 300 or 400 likes smashed on this video, because every time I call in for 200, you give me 300. Every time I call in for 300, 310. Now let's go for 100, guys, because these videos are hugely watched, and thank you for the appreciation, because you are showing us love like never before. Thank you for being with me, and I promise you I'll always be with you, and I'll never betray you on any of the fronts of presenting to you the latest news and information as far as your teams are really concerned. Now, Grammy Bailey, he's a football correspondent for 90-minute football, has confirmed to us that Arsenal hopeful to finalize deal for Jurrien Timber. He remains strong despite an initial 35 million bid rejected. Sources say the Gunners aim to negotiate down Ajax's asking price of 60 million euros. His potential arrival at the Emirates Stadium is eagerly anticipated. And Arsenal have to be hopeful. You know, each and every time you are chasing for a player and the player goes ahead and obviously turns down a bid or interest from another team that is really rivaling you, then you have to sit down and obviously relax. Though it has gone ahead to cause them trouble in the deal of Mokalo Modric and currently in the deal of Declan Rice, but you at least feel like you are having some bit of space to negotiate the deal. And as it stands right now, Arsenal are in negotiations with Ajax to see to it that they find a common ground to negotiate down the amount of money that Ajax is calling in for Jurrien Timber. They are between 25 to 30 million euros apart, and it looks like Arsenal want to get this deal over the line. And they are doing a multitude of deals in the nick of time, but I understand it's all about Mikel Arteta getting the players he wants in a very short period of time possible, because he wants to start the American preseason with them such that he integrates them into the team and he attacks the season with the game they're going to play against Manchester City, that is the Community Shield. And it shows you exactly what this means for this Arsenal side and how they want to start off the season by beating Man City, because these signings that Arsenal is getting in are aimed to really set the minds of these players of Arsenal that we can beat Man City. You know, there is a mind block that ever since Mikel Arteta came in at Arsenal, he has never beaten Pep Guardiola. The previous 2 seasons, he conceded 5 in a certain game, and then he lost 2-1 at Emirates. Then last season, 3-1 at Emirates. Was it 4-1? 4-1 at Etihad. So there is that mind block, and to open it up, you need signings of the caliber of Declan Rice, Jurrien Timber, Kai Havertz, Lavia, to integrate them into this team and obviously give them a mission that the game you're going to play on the 5th or 6th of August has to be a must win, because we need to send a message to City clearly that we are Arsenal and we are going for you and we are coming for you. And the battle for the Premier League starts off on the Community Shield, and Arteta wants to win it, because the first time he played into that Community Shield as a manager, he won it. So he is really targeting that, and he wants to see himself lift the trophy. That is Mikel Arteta. So he wants to get in these players early enough. That's why he's really attacking it like never before. Now, there has been a story making rounds on social media, right, about the buyout clause or release clause of Jurrien Timber that has been that was indicated or put or inserted into his new deal that he signed last summer with Ajax. But Mark Verwage, tier 1 journalist coming in from Netherlands, works for the Telegraph, has gone ahead and refuted all that, and he said Jurrien Timber does not have a release clause in his contract. These rumors are not true. Ajax and Arsenal will need to negotiate. Ajax are asking for 60 million euros, but the expectation is that he will get sold between 40 million euros and 50 million euros. That is it, coming in from Mark Verwage. And when you look at this, I think it's going to be a very huge deal done by Arsenal to get a player of the quality of Jurrien Timber at 43 million pounds. That is like 50 million euros. That is really going to be something great for Arsenal, and it will be great business done by them as a competitor for Saliba and Ben White and Miyasu, because this boy is hugely talented. And as a fan of Man United, I'd like to go ahead and recredit Arsenal, because United found themselves in a situation of negotiating a deal to bring Lisandro Martinez, and they paid close to 46 million pounds, you know, and they are still paying. This deal could raise until 60 million pounds. That is Ajax for you. So it shows you that Arsenal are really good negotiators when it comes to business, but they need to act fast, because you never know. Ten Hag can turn heel and say, I want Jurrien Timber, and the same scenario that happened to Arsenal to lose Lisandro Martinez to Manchester United happens. So let's not see this happen to Arsenal, because they never acted fast. They need to act fast and get in Jurrien Timber. So that's an update coming from Jurrien Timber and his camp. So I think you guys are well versed with what is happening right now. And as I told you yesterday, Arsenal is preparing what we call a second bid for Jurrien Timber, and they are trying to negotiate with Ajax to see to it that they really get in the best of bids that can please the side of Ajax. So let's wait and see how those negotiations go on. But it looks like Arsenal are so much focused onto the deal of Declan Rice right now, because Man City is in and they are planning to put in their first bid as Man City, as Arsenal is planning to put their third bid in. As I brought you a story early this morning, it's all about Arsenal confirming to West Ham that we are coming back with a third bid that is going to be catering for all things I've been complaining about into the deal of Declan Rice to Arsenal that led to the rejection of the first two bids that Arsenal put in through. Let's go to the two players that Arsenal might see leave. For Charlie Patino, it's obviously confirmation he's leaving, and for Balogun, it's still 50-50. He might stay, he might leave. Now, we've been told by Chris Whitley, he's a football content editor for the Networld Pub. Remember, he was an Arsenal correspondent for the Football London, and he still has those connections with Arsenal. So he has told us that Arsenal will insert sell-on clauses and matching rights into deals for promising outgoing players this summer, with the likes of Balogun and Charlie Patino in talks over possible exits. Interest for both players is already hotting up. So Balogun is one of those players I talked about regularly that he might see himself leave Arsenal. That's no doubt. And Charlie Patino confirmed that Arsenal want to sell him, but they want to see a lot of money added onto that deal for a side of Arsenal. And they are really pushing hard to sell these players. But before they move them on, they want to first see who are the suitors. But if at all interest is heating up or hotting up for these players, that plays in the favor of Arsenal to get in the best of money they deserve. For a player like Balogun, they can get like 40 million pounds, 50. And I was watching AFTV, and Robbie came out and said that if at all Rasmus Højlund is going in for 80 million pounds, why is Balogun going in for less? And let me give him an answer here. It's all about which teams are interested. For Balogun, no elite team like Man United is interested in him. You know, teams like AC Milan is elite, but not at the level of Man United when it comes to really the purchasing power and how that player can really and how that player's price can be blown out of the equation. For example, Benjamin Šeško was wanted by Man United, and RB Salzburg was calling in for £60 million. But when they sold him to RB Leipzig, they only paid 24 million euros because they know that he's going to go to RB Leipzig and there is a resale value and some resale money that they're going to get when they sell him on a huge price. So, as it stands, Balogun, Arsenal can get between 40 to 50 million pounds. I think that's a very good amount of money for Arsenal to get into their bucket, into there for you. But it's going to be hard, a decision for Mikel Arteta to make, because Balogun is ready to prove Mikel Arteta wrong, that I'm supposed to be the second striker of Arsenal. So, as Eddie Nketiah is afraid or threatened with the coming in of Kai Havertz, there is another player known as Balogun that is on form that's going to hit to score goals that Eddie Nketiah has never scored in any of his seasons of his life. The other one is Jurrien Patino, a very good left-footed central midfielder that most Arsenal fans fancy. But, you know, the level at which Arsenal has reached, it's not all about testing, you know. Arsenal is getting players that deserve to play for the club of Arsenal, because Jurrien Patino is nowhere near close the starting position of Arsenal in the midfield. He's behind El Nini, Lokonga, of which even those two are nowhere near the starting 11 of Arsenal. So, looks like Jurrien Patino called in for an exit of Arsenal, and Arsenal wanted to trigger that contract that had 2 years left on his contract, to it that they can loan him maybe back to Blackpool or elsewhere and get his career developed, but under Arsenal. But Jurrien Patino wants out. But Arsenal are willing to put in what we call a sell clause. If at all they are selling him, Arsenal should get like 30 or 20% of that amount of money when that player is being sold. And the most beneficiaries of these clauses are teams coming in from Brazil. For example, when Anthony was sold to Manchester United at 85 million pounds, let's say 100 million euros, Sao Paulo had to earn, was it 15%, 18% of the amount of money. So they got close to 20 million euros, you know. So Ajax found themselves getting close to 80 million euros. So that is something that these players are really doing. And Benfica does it a lot, you know. And River Plate, where Enzo Fernandez came in from, when they sold Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea, 120 million euros, River Plate found themselves getting 30% of that amount of money, meaning that they got close to 36 million euros on that sale. So Arsenal is planning to do that, and if at all they get money from that, it will be good business for these players. But I really understand the reason as to why they are doing this, because they need to offload players to create space for those ones to come in through. And a player like Balogun, you don't get him in and he gets enough playing time, you'll understand that he can really cause mayhem into the dressing room of the side of Arsenal. Now, let's call it with Frankie Kessié from Barcelona. Marca, very credible outlet coming in from Spain, has confirmed us that Atletico Madrid are interested in signing Frank Kessié. Now, I understand that Barcelona are really having problems, and we've continuously came on here and obviously told you the problems of Barcelona, that they don't have money to buy players. Even those, they can get in on a free. It's hard for them to facilitate their registration. That's why Messi signed for Inter Miami. Ilkay Gundogan is in, but his registration is hard. His registration is going to be having lots of questions, because the likes of Gavi, Alejandro Balde are also pending registration in the La Liga, and they need to raise money from sales. So Frank Kessié is one of those that they want to sell. After acquiring the services of Ilkay Gundogan, they have to release players to register Ilkay Gundogan. But if you lose Frank Kessié, I understand that you're weakening the midfield, because you'll be left with Frankie de Jong, Ilkay Gundogan, Pedri. Maybe Sergio Roberto sometimes can be played into that side, but if at all Frankie de Jong gets an injury, who do you play in the CDM? I understand Ika Gundogan can play that position, but you cannot rely your season on Ika Gundogan, because by the time you'll be wanting him to play for you, he might have gotten an injury, because he's an injury-prone player, and Man City are just going to head to manage him better and give him enough time to rest, to sit, because they have lots of options to go on and really play into that position. So, as it stands, Frank Kessié is up for sale, and Atletico Madrid is interested in him. We all know the chemistry between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. They're having a very good understanding. Barcelona bought Griezmann from there, and then they sold him back. So they've sold Memphis Depay to Atletico Madrid. So they're having some good relationship when it comes to selling those players, and you understand that it might pay out better to see those players really getting the best of the best that they deserve as a team of Barcelona. So they need to offload of players, and they might start off with Frank Kessié in a nick of time. So guys, your thoughts on to Arsenal hopeful to finalize Timber deal are welcome into the comment section below. That's some huge truth coming in from Mark Viwage about his deal, that he has no buyout clause. Then what do you make about Arsenal putting in sell clauses of Balogun and this guy, what is his name? He's called Charlie Patino. And lastly, what do you make about Frank Kessié to Atletico Madrid? I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim friends, viewers, and subscribers, may Allah protect you abundantly and embrace you abundantly. Ciao, ciao.